Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone. So we continue with the new chapter in organic chemistry, which is the hydrocarbon part 1 about the alkanes compound. At the end of this chapter, students should be able to differentiate between alkane and cycloalkane, naming the compound, explain the physical properties of alkane compounds, explain the chemical reaction in alkanes, and also elaborate the mechanism of reaction involving alkanes compound. So this is the content for this lecture. So we continue with the introduction. If you can see here, hydrocarbon can be divided into three types of compound, which is the aliphatic hydrocarbon, cycloalkane hydrocarbon, and aromatic hydrocarbon. And for this chapter, I will focus on the alkane only. What is alkane? Alkane, known also as aliphatic compound, which is the linear compound, and this formula consists of the general formula, which is CnH2n plus 2, where the number of C's is n. And this compound also saturated with hydrogen. It means that no more hydrogen or no more other functional group can be added into the carbon. And also, alkane is a compound with C bond C single bonds and C bond H bonds only, and there are no functional group present in this compound. If you can see at table 16.3, there are several ways to write the structural formula of alkanes. For example, methane CH4, you can write down or draw the molecular formula in expanded structure C, and then you need to show the bond between carbon and hydrogen. Okay, or you can write down the molecular formula for methane in the condensed structure, which is CH4, which means that the carbon bonded with 4 hydrogen atoms. Another example, CH2H6. Okay, for ethane, you can write down or draw the molecular formula in expanded formula. Okay, you need to show all the bonds present in the ethane, or you can write down the molecular formula in the condensed structure, which is CH3CH3. So this is the part of CH3 and another part of CH3, and so on. Okay, selain daripada the expanded structure and condensed structure, we also can draw the molecular formula of alkane with the skeletal structure, where the skeletal structure means that setiap bucu atau setiap hujung dia menunjukkan satu carbon, and we can start draw the skeletal structure with the ethane structure and so on. Okay, for example, in ethane, we have 1 and 2 carbon. So, which means we can draw the skeletal structure for ethane like this one. So, each bucu dekat sini, ini menunjukkan satu carbon dan carbon yang kedua. Sama juga for propane, since dia ada 1, 2, 3 carbon. So, then we can do the skeletal structure for propane like this one. We have 1 carbon, 2 carbon, and 3 carbon. Next, we look into the cycloalkanes. So, what is cycloalkane? Cycloalkane are the alkanes that have carbon atoms that form in a ring. We call it as a cyclic compound, and this cycloalkane has the general formula of CnH2n. So, which means we can differentiate with the alkanes, where alkanes have the general formula CnH2n plus 2. Meanwhile, the cycloalkane is CnH2n. And then the cycloalkane also shows as a regular polygon with a number of vertical equals to the number of C's. So these are several types of the cycloalkanes: propane, cyclobutane, cyclopentane, and cyclohexane. And then the condensed structure of the cyclopropane can be written down or can be drawn into the skeletal structure following its number of the carbon. For example, cyclopropane has 1, 2, 3 carbon, so which we can do the triangle structure where it possesses 1, 2, 3 carbon also. Meanwhile, for the cyclobutane, kita ada 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon. So which mean untuk cyclobutane kita boleh buat the segi 4 lah. 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon. And so on lah. Cyclopentane ada 5. Kita boleh buat the structure yang ada 5 bucu sini. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yang menunjukkan dia ada 5 carbon. And cyclohexane, hexagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next, we move to the nomenclature of alkanes and cycloalkanes. How we name the compound of alkanes and cycloalkanes. Kita tengok dulu untuk alkanes. To name the alkanes, kita perlu ada dua ni. Prefix plus with A and E. Prefix name ni, ini merujuk kepada berapa bilangan karbon yang ada di dalam compound tersebut. Okay, for example, untuk CH4, ini ada satu carbon kan. So which mean the prefix name for one carbon is meth, and then we need to add A and E pada hujung dia. So the name of this compound is methane. And then for carbon, two carbon, okay, C2H6, prefix name is ETH, heath, and then we need to add A and E pada hujung dia. Then kita boleh namakan the compound as ethane. Sama juga untuk carbon yang ada carbon 3 carbon, okay, 3 carbon, the prefix name is prop, then we add A and E pada hujung, so then nama dia adalah propane, and so on. 4 carbon butane, 5 carbon pentane, 6 carbon hexane, and so on. So student, you need to understand how to name the compound using the prefix name and plus A and E pada hujung dia, and need to remember. And then maybe dalam structure of alkane you will find the presence of the substituent. What is substituent? Substituent adalah satu compound of the alkane also, but it will attach to the linear structure of alkane. For example, CH3, CH2, CH3. So this is the substituent. So how to name the substituent? To name the substituent sama juga kita perlu tengok berapa carbon untuk substituent tu, but the A and E hujung tu kita akan tukar kepada YL. So for original, ini adalah methane, right? Ada satu carbon, but since ini adalah substituent, so kita tukar nama dia adalah sebagai methyl. Okay, kita tukar A and E kepada HYL. Okay, YL di sini. So ini adalah contoh-contoh substituent yang adalah methyl, ethyl, propyl, isopropyl, and then when the halogen become the substituent, kita kena tukar nama dia sebagai kita tukar hujung dia pada RO. Okay, fluorine pergi fluoro, chlorine pergi chloro, bromine bromo, and iodine iodo. Okay, ini adalah beberapa lagi contoh untuk substituent. So untuk substituent ni, you have to be familiar with all the substituent yang ada. Okay, we look into the steps to naming the alkanes. The first step is to determine the number of carbon in the parent hydrocarbon, naming the compound based on the prefix name. So which mean bila kita dapat satu compound ni, kita perlu count the total carbon pada linear structure. Then daripada sana baru kita boleh determine the prefix name for that compound. For example, kita tengok for the first compound dekat sini kita ada 1, 2, 3 carbon. So which mean for 3 carbon kita boleh namakan dia sebagai propane. So the name of this compound is propane. How about this one? The next compound. This compound we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbon. So for the 6 carbon, apa nama dia? 6 carbon is hexane. Okay, and then another carbon. So untuk another carbon ni saya bagi tunjuk dalam bentuk skeletal structure. Seperti mana yang saya nyatakan pada awal-awal tadi, untuk skeletal structure bermaksud setiap bucu atau setiap hujung tu merujuk kepada satu carbon. So which mean for this structure kita ada 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon. So untuk 5 carbon kita boleh namakan this compound as pentane. And then how about this carbon? How many carbon? So even though dia punya structure tidak lurus, tapi kita anggap dia sebagai linear structure. So it become the parent hydrocarbon. So we count the carbon as usual. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. For 8 carbon, nama dia adalah octane. Next, we move to the second step, which is compound of alkane with a substituents. First, you need to choose the longest possible continuous chain in the structure. The longest possible continuous chain of carbon in the structure. So, which means for this step, you need to try and error untuk cari the longest chain of carbon. So itu akan jadi sebagai parent name ataupun parent compound of the compound lah. And then for 2A, the number the chain of the substituent with the lowest possible number. So you need to assign the lowest number of all substituent, and then when you name it, arrange the substituent in alphabetical order. Okay, kita tengok pada example yang diberikan. So, for example, like this one, kita try and error dulu. Okay, kita start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, ataupun kita boleh buat the second root. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So which mean bila kita tengok sini, the red root give the longest chain of carbon. So which mean the longest chain is 8 carbon. And then if you can see here, the root of the longest chain can be write down into 2 ways. Sama ada kita start daripada this one ataupun kita boleh start daripada di bawah. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Okay, so based on the step 2A, we need to find the number of chains with the substituent that give the lowest possible number. So which mean bila kita tengok dekat sini, ini adalah substituent. Kalau kita tengok substituent, kalau kita guna the red root, the substituent attached at the 4th carbon. But when we use the green root, okay, the substituent attached at the 5th carbon. So which mean by using the step of 2A, kita kena ambil yang the lowest number of the lowest possible number. So bermaksud kita kena guna the red root, then kita baru name the compound. Okay, so since kita ada, ini adalah substituent. Kalau substituent tiga carbon daripada propane. Okay, propane kita tukar kepada substituent, ia akan jadi sebagai propyl. Okay, so we can name the compound as 4-propyl and octane. Bermaksud propyl attach pada carbon yang keempat, and octane ni merujuk kepada the parent name of the compound atau parent chain of the compound. We look to the next example. Dekat sini kita kena try and error lah untuk cari the longest chain of carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ataupun kita cari lagi 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, kita sudah cari try and error. So which mean the longest carbon chain is 8 carbon. So kita boleh padam lah the root line tu. Okay, and then the longest chain ni kita boleh write down in two ways. Kita start daripada sini satu ataupun kita start daripada sebelah kanan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Okay, let's see. Kita ada dua substituent dekat sini. Okay, if we use the blue root, okay, the substituent dia akan jadi sebagai akan attach pada carbon yang ketiga dan carbon yang kelima. But if we use the red root, the carbon, okay, the substituent akan attach pada carbon yang keempat dan carbon yang keenam. So which mean kalau kita tambah dua ni, okay, ini akan ambil 8 dan this one akan jadi 10. So which mean we need to find the lowest possible number. So kita akan ambil the blue root to be the main structure ataupun the main range order, the range order. So kita namakan the substituent first. Ini satu carbon, methyl, okay, and then for two carbons kita namakan dia sebagai ethyl. Okay, ethane tukar kepada ethyl. So untuk parent name 8 carbon is octane. So kita boleh namakan dia, and then you need to remember arrange the substituent in alphabetical order. So between methyl and ethyl, kita start with the ethyl first. So 5 ethyl, 3 methyl, octane. Okay, so ini adalah nama for this compound. Bermaksud ethyl attach pada carbon yang kelima, methyl attach pada carbon yang ketiga, and then the parent name of this compound is octane. Okay, for the next example here, using the skeletal structure. So seperti mana yang ikut daripada example 1 and 2, kita try and error dulu. Okay, try and error. Kita cari dulu the longest continuous chain of carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ataupun kita boleh guna 1, 2, 3, 4. Sama saja. Okay, so which mean the longest chain is 5 carbon. So kita padam this one. Okay. And then as usual, ada two ways to count the carbon using the left or the right way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So by using the red root, kalau kita tengok ini adalah dia punya substituent, dua substituent. The red root dia akan bagi the substituent attached to the third carbon and the fourth carbon. Meanwhile, for the green root, the substituent attached at the second carbon and the third carbon. So which mean kalau kita tengok sini, total is 7, and then this one is total is 5. So the lowest number is the red root, the green root. So which mean kita akan guna the green root as the root for the substituent. Okay. Then kita namakan the substituent. Okay, substituent yang ada adalah satu carbon. Ini adalah satu carbon dan ini juga satu carbon. So kedua-dua untuk substituent ni kita namakan dia sebagai methyl. So how to name the compound? So to name the compound, kita tengok since dia attach pada carbon number 2 and 3, so kita boleh namakan the structure as 2, 3 dimethyl. Kalau 5 is pentane. Bermaksud the methyl attached at carbon number 2 and carbon number 3. Di ni bermaksud kita ada dua methyl substitution, and pentane ini bermaksud kepada the parent chain of the compound. We look into the next structure Okay, macam biasa kita kena cari the longest chain of carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ataupun saya rasa the 7 is the longest chain, tapi kita boleh buat another route. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so if we follow the red route, the substituent akan attach pada carbon 5 and 6. Total is 11. And then when we follow the green route, is the substituent attached at 2 and 3 carbon, at the third carbon. So it give the total structure, the total number is 5. So of course kita akan ambil the lowest possible number. Okay. Alright, to name the compound, since both of the substituent are methyl and methyl also, so jangan lupa 2 methyl kita akan letak di. So kita boleh namakan dia adalah sebagai 2,3-dimethyl. Since ini adalah 7, so kita boleh letak dia sebagai heptane. Bermaksud carbon methyl attached at carbon number 2 and number 3. Di bermaksud ada 2 methyl, and heptane bermaksud ini adalah the parent name of this compound is heptane. Ada 7 carbon. Next step is when both directions lead to the same lowest number of one of the substituent, the direction is chosen that give the lowest possible number. Okey, untuk yang step ni adalah sama juga seperti yang saya telah nyatakan ataupun terangkan pada previous slide. And then for the step 4, if the same number is obtained in both directions, the first group in alphabetical order receive the lowest number. Okay, kita akan tengok the example. Okay, for example, the first example here. Sama juga, dia punya first step, kita kena cari the longest chain of carbon. So, the longest chain of carbon is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright, and then the possible route, another possible route, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, let's say kalau kita guna route, red route, the substituent yang attached to the parent chain is 2, 2, and 4. Meanwhile, if we use the green route, the substituent attached to the second carbon and the fourth carbon Y4. So which means the total number for the green route is 10. Meanwhile, the red route is 148. So which means we need to use the lowest possible number of substituents. So then we use the red route. So then kita boleh namakan untuk this structure as 2,2,4 trimethylpentane, bukannya 2,4,4 trimethylpentane. So which mean the methyl attached at second carbon and fourth carbon. Okay, second carbon and fourth carbon. Next example is as usual, kita cari the longest route. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Ataupun kalau kita turun bawah, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Sama juga. Okay, so which means we have the same, okay, the same total number. So then kita cari the longest, the other routes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So if you use the green route, the substituent attach at 3, 3, and 5. Meanwhile, if you use the red route, the substituent attached at the third carbon and fifth carbon. So which means the total for the red root is 13, meanwhile the green root is 11. So which means we use the green root as a main root for the carbon chain of parent hydrocarbon. So we can name the compound as, okay, since kita ada this one ethyl, okay, ada 1 and 2 carbon, ini methyl, this one pun methyl. So kita perlu arrange the substituent following the alphabetical order. So we start with the ethyl first. Ethyl attached at 3 ethyl, and then 3,5 dimethyl. Since 7 carbon of the carbon chain, it is heptane. So which means the ethyl attached at the third carbon, and then methyl attached at the third and the fifth carbon. So which means since the methyl dia ada 2, kita letak dimethyl here. Okay, the next example here. Okay, kita cari the longest chain of carbon first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, ataupun 6 lah yang paling panjang. Okay, so we can do the other way, 4, 5 and 6. Alright, so if we do the red root, the substituent, okay, attach at the third carbon and the fourth carbon. Meanwhile, if we do the green root, the substituent attached at the third carbon and the fourth carbon. Okay, both roots give the same number of substituent. So by using the steps 4, if the same number is obtained in both directions, the first group in alphabetical order receive the lowest number, the first group. So since ini kita ada ethyl and then this one is methyl, we will use, okay, kita akan ambil methyl sebagai dia punya the first group, okay, of the substituent. So then kalau the first group, kita akan following the green root. So then kita boleh namakan this compound as 3 ethyl 4 methyl hexane. Okay, sebab ada 6 carbon kan, the longest chain is 6, so which mean the parent name is hexane. How about this one? Okay, sama juga 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. 7. Okay, the longest chain is 8 octane. Okay, we do the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. If we use the red root, the substituent is attached at the fourth carbon and the fifth carbon. Meanwhile, kalau kita guna the green root, okay, substituent attached at the fourth carbon and the fifth carbon also. Right, so what is the root that we will use as to naming the compound? We use the step 4, okay, since ethyl akan jadi sebagai the first substituent, okay, because of the alphabetical order. So then kita akan follow the red root. Okay, so then kita boleh namakan this compound as 4 ethyl 5 methyl octane. The fifth step, in the case of 2 hydrocarbon chains with the same number of carbon, choose the one with the most substituent. Okay, kita akan tengok pada example for this step. Okay, let's say kita ada example like this one. Kita untuk possible naming of this compound, dia ada dua, 3-isopropyl hexane and 3,2-methyl hexane. So kedua-dua dia adalah, dia akan bagi the longest chain is hexane. So let's see, kita tengok for 3-isopropyl hexane, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So which mean ini adalah isopropyl. And then how about the second name? How we can get the name? Okay, the name of the 3-ethyl-2-methyl-hexane we can get through this one. Kalau kita start counting the carbon from this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So which mean kita ada dua substituent. So by using the step of the fifth step, okay, in the case of 2 hydrocarbon chain with the same number of carbon, okay, kalau in this case kita ada dua hexane, dua dua carbon yang sama, okay, 6 carbon, choose the one with the most substituent. So since in the first name cuma guna satu substituent saja, but with the second name kita ada dua substituent. So which mean ini adalah nama for this compound, 3-ethyl-2-methyl-hexane. Sama juga untuk the next example. Okay, the next example kita boleh cari the lowest ada. Okay, 1, 2, 3, kita boleh cari the longest chain of carbon, 4, 5, 6 and 7, the first. Okay, ataupun kita boleh 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, so if we use the green root, kita ada 1, 2 dan 3 substituent. Tapi kalau kita guna the red root, okay, kita ada 1, 2, 3 dan 4 substituent. So which mean kita ambil the most substituent, okay, the root with the most substituent. So which mean kita akan ambil the red root. That's why nama untuk this compound is 3,3,5-trimethyl 4-propylheptane. Okay, bermaksud ada methyl attached at the third carbon and fifth carbon, and then propyl attached at the fourth carbon. Ini adalah propyl, ini adalah methyl.